and turns sharply, skimming the shallows, making for a shore that will show a friendly face, a color, a familiar language, and a third to proceed no longer by paths indirect, but straight to home.
Hello, friend, welcome me home again. Well, I've been away, but that's all over now. Say I can stay for October now. Stay a while and play.
In the first two games of the World Series, the San Francisco Giants have run into some tremendous pitching. Dave Stewart of the A's threw a shutout in Game 1. And Mike Moore in the Oakland bullpen did the job in Game 2. At the plate, punch has been provided by people like Dave Parker and Terry Steinbach. And the A's have won the first two games of the World Series and are halfway to their first world title since 1974. The Giant dugout full of long faces all weekend.
Hello, friend, welcome me home again. I know I've been away, but that's all over now. Isn't it nice to be home again? Over here, it's clear.
And tonight, the Giants home to host the A's in Game 3.
Hello, old friend.
And home for the Giants, one of the most spectacular vistas on this continent, any continent. Downtown San Francisco in the background, and we zoom into Candlestick Park in the southeastern corner of this city. For the first time in 27 years, a World Series game will be played in Candlestick Park. The Battle of the Bay continues. Game 3 of the 1989 World Series, the Oakland Athletics against the San Francisco Giants. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Game 3. It's been dominant Oakland pitching, of course, in the first two games, so Roger Craig has made some changes in the Giants lineup. Ken Oberkfell, the great pinch hitter, will start at third base. Matt Williams moves from third base to shortstop. Jose Uribe is on the bench. Pat Sheridan takes over for Candy Maldonado in right field. Now, the Giants, of course, are faced with a formidable task, having to win 4 or 5 in essence to win the world title. It has become less uncommon, though, in recent years for teams to overcome a 2-love deficit. Most recently, it was done by the New York Mets in 1986 against the Boston Red Sox, and it was done the year before as well in 1985 by Kansas City against St. Louis. So the Giants tonight will be sending Don Robinson to the mound, and for Oakland it will be Bob Welch, and there's no designated hitter in effect in the National League Park. Let me turn now to Tim McCarver. And, you know, Tim, we talked in Game 1, the final score was 5-0, but there was a key early play involving Terry Kennedy dropping a throw from Will Clark at the plate. We go back to Game 2. The score was 5-1, but there were 2 key plays early in that one as well.
Well, you don't often think of key plays in a 5-1 ball game, but let's go back to the top of the third inning. Will Clark, the batter. The Giants have not had the lead in these 2 games. A 3-2 count, a split finger fastball by Mike Moore, pounced on by Terry Steinbach, the Oakland catcher. But look at the tough throw that he had to complete the play with Brett Butler running between him and Clark. Flash forward to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dave Parker, barely by inches, just misses a home run. Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
From Candlestick Park in San Francisco, California, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series, the Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants, with the A's leading in the World Series 2-0. Hi again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. At this very moment, 10 days ago, we began our telecast with an aerial view of San Francisco, always a spectacular sight, and particularly so on that day because the cloudless sky of October 17th was ice blue, and the reflections of the late day sun sparkled like 1,000 jewels. That picture was very much a mirror of the feel and the mood that had enveloped the Bay Area and indeed most of Northern California. Their baseball teams, the Giants and the Athletics, had won pennants, and the people of this region were still basking in the afterglow of each team's success. And this great American sporting classic, the World Series, was for the time being exclusively theirs. Then, of course, that feeling of pure radiance was transformed into horror and grief and despair in 15 seconds. And now, on October 27th, like a fighter who's taken a vicious blow to the stomach and has groggily arisen, this region moves on and moves ahead. And one part of that scenario is the resumption of the World Series. No one in this ballpark tonight, no player, no vendor, no fan, no writer, no announcer, in fact, no one in this area, period, can forget the images, the column of smoke in the marina, the severed bridge, the grotesque tangle of concrete in Oakland. The pictures are embedded in our minds. And while the mourning and the agonizing and the after effects continue, in about 30 minutes, the plate umpire, Vic Voltaggio, will say play ball. And the players will play, the vendors will sell, the crowd will exhort, the announcers will announce. And for many of the 6 million people in this region, it will be like revisiting Fantasyland. But Fantasyland is where baseball comes from anyway. And maybe right about now, that's the perfect place for a 3-hour rest. Before the game tonight, you'll hear from the commissioner of baseball, the mayors of San Francisco and Oakland, and the managers of the two teams. Right now, to Gary Thorne with Fay Vincent.
Thank you, Al. Commissioner, the winds of fate in the past 6 months have certainly found you. Your personal thoughts as you get set for Game 3 here tonight?
Well, they're complicated thoughts. I think first are the people who've suffered the last 2 weeks. I'm sorry for them. I'm delighted, on the other hand, that baseball can be a symbol of recovery. And I guess personally, I'm just thrilled to be able to see a good ball game.
As you get ready for this one, there's been so much discussion about putting the game in perspective. Your comment on that?
Well, I think one of our objectives was to keep baseball in its place over this last week and a half. I think we did that. Now I think baseball belongs where it is, on the field, and we're very happy to be playing.
And all the discussion also about what it might do for this area. By the sound of this crowd tonight, they are ready for the game to be played.
Well, they are. That's not a surprise to me. I had every belief that they would be ready for baseball. Now I think this represents a recovery of San Francisco and the area. It's a wonderful feeling.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Al?
Okay, Gary, there is a special ceremony about to take place. For that, let's join the PA announcer, Jeffrey Bonds.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise for a special ceremony. 10 days ago at this time, as we prepared for Game 3 of the World Series here at Candlestick Park, a major earthquake shook Northern California, killing dozens of people in widespread destruction throughout the Bay Area. Please join together now to observe a moment of silence in memory of those who perished in this disaster. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball, the San Francisco Giants, and the Oakland A's share not only in the community's tragic sense of loss, but also in its legendary spirit of resurrection from such a catastrophe. Nowhere is the spirit embodied more than in the 1936 song San Francisco, as popularized by Jeanette MacDonald in the film of the same name about the city's recovery from the great earthquake and fire of 1906. In tribute to this undaunted vitality of Northern California, and to your own camaraderie as baseball fans, let's all turn and shake hands with those around us. Then join with the cast of the award-winning San Francisco musical review, Beach Blanket Babylon, for a rousing rendition of San Francisco.
Hello, I'm Dave Stewart of the Oakland Athletics. Thousands of volunteers have helped those affected by the earthquake. You can help too. Make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. Please specify that your contribution go to a Bay Area earthquake relief effort. Thank you for your support.
The ultimate driving machine. What a luxury car should be. Engineered like no other car in the world. A car you can believe in. These days, it seems that every luxury automaker has some sort of impressive slogan. But there's one claim that makes all the others seem insignificant. A claim that no automaker but Acura is entitled to make. #1 in customer satisfaction, 3 years in a row.
One of these guys is a pro photographer. One's a dentist. With the autofocus EOS 750, it's tough to tell them apart. Canon EOS. Now you don't have to be a pro to shoot like one. And with the EOS 750, now you don't have to be a pro to afford one. Autofocus Canon EOS, so advanced, it's easy to shoot like a pro.
By the way, Doc, could you look at this tooth?
Now, a $50 rebate direct from Canon.
You know what? My dad bought a new car. So did mine. My dad got a V8. My dad got a V12. My dad got a sunroof. My dad got a convertible. My dad got a CD player. My dad got a car phone. My dad got Michelin. Michelin? Well, my mom's prettier than your mom.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Witches and ghosts, what a Halloween treat. First, the spirits come alive and Winnie works a wild magic. Catch Free Spirit at a special time. Then...
So who's up for a little trick-or-treating?
With Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters Halloween Special, Monday.
Monday. Are you ready for the football? Herschel Walker and the Vikings take on the New York Giants. 2 first-place teams on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Then, trick-or-treat. His archenemy becomes his only ally, MacGyver, Monday.
Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The Oakland Athletics versus the San Francisco Giants. Brought to you by Michelin. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Acura Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted performance exclusively at your Acura dealer.
Back in San Francisco, Candlestick Park, gorgeous late afternoon, temperature in the 60s, and I'm joined by 2 men who have been rather busy of late. Art Agnos is with me, the mayor of San Francisco, and across the bay in his office in Oakland is Mayor Lionel Wilson. And Mayor Agnos, I'll begin with you. How is the recovery process going for your city, the city of San Francisco?
It's superb. San Francisco is ready and is as hot as the World Series is right out there today. The cable cars are running. Chinatown is bustling. Fisherman's Wharf is open, and the city is back, just like the World Series.
What about the major problems that you will have ahead now?
Well, our major problems are going to be rebuilding the homes that were affected in that small part of the city, that in the marina that was so heavily impacted, a couple of other isolated areas. And the people of this city have rebounded superbly. We've gotten tremendous support from all over the nation, from every American. It seems as though it's been terrific.
Mayor Wilson, how about your city, the city of Oakland, and its recovery process? How is it going?
Well, we're well on the way to recovery, although it's early yet, because there have been so many aftershocks that it's difficult to tell what the final tally is going to be in terms of the damage. But the people are together. It's been marvelous to see the way the people in the community have come together. I've never seen them come together around any other problem or any other issue the way they have come together around this earthquake and the problems entailed to it. So we're coming along well.
The most important problems, sir, that you and your city will face in the near future, what will they be?
Well, the most important problem for us also will be housing. Housing those whom we had to dispossess, those we had to evacuate out of their homes of whatever nature they were. rebuilding and providing houses and homes for the people.
Your Coliseum, we understand, will be ready for games 6 and 7, but I would assume you are hoping that that's a moot point at this point.
Well, it is a moot point, and our Coliseum is ready. It's ready right now, and if we had to go today as far as the Coliseum itself is concerned, that Coliseum would be ready, so it's in good shape.
A final thought from you, Mayor Agnos?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the Commissioner of Baseball and Major League Baseball for the extraordinary contribution that they've made in terms of their understanding, their sympathy, as have all Americans around the country and friends from all over the world, Japan and Taiwan. And a lot of people have been asking what they can do to help, and I'd just like to say that the Northern California Earthquake Fund, care of the Bank of America, or they can call a toll-free number of 1-900-386-0101 to help us with this recovery. We're very grateful to everyone.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Game 3 of the World Series coming up shortly. We'll return to Candlestick Park right after this message and an ABC News Brief.
Tribute to the spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I like my MCI. I get more. I like my MCI.
The product. The proving grounds. The results. STP gas treatment is the edge.
Well, what did he say?
He said, Kirkwood, you're smart, you're aggressive, you're brilliant, creative, aggressive, brilliant.
He said all that, did he?
Well, something to that effect.
Come on, come on, come on. What else?
Stock, sign-on bonus, company car. Of course, I'm going to turn it down.
The job?
The car.
The Legend sedan from Acura. #1 in customer satisfaction. 3 years in a row.
An ABC News Brief. Now from New York, Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. At the Pan American Summit in Costa Rica today, President Bush chatted with Nicaragua's leftist President Daniel Ortega. But for the most part, the two virtually ignored each other. Police put down an uprising at the Camp Hill State Prison in Pennsylvania in which 60 people were injured. San Francisco's Mayor Art Agnos says the city is now 98% back to normal. And later on Nightline, the fans at tonight's World Series game. How did the earthquake affect them?
Candlestick Park in San Francisco continues to fill up for Game 3 of the World Series. Once again to the PA announcer, Jeffrey Bonds.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. With tonight's starting lineups, here's the voice of the San Francisco Giants, Hank Greenwald.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, from the American League champion Oakland A's. The manager, number 10, Tony La Russa. Leading off, left fielder, number 24, Ricky Henderson. Batting second and playing third base, number 4, Carney Lansford. Hitting third and playing right field, number 33, Jose Canseco. first baseman, number 25, Mark McGuire. Hitting fifth and playing center field, number 42, Dave Henderson. Batting sixth and catching, number 36, Terry Steinbach. Hitting seventh, the second baseman, number 2, Tony Phillips. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 7, Walt White. And batting ninth and pitching for the A's tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 34, Dave Stewart, and the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the Oakland A's. And now for the National League champion San Francisco Giants. The manager, number 38, Roger Craig. Leading off and playing center field, number 2, Brett Butler. Batting second, the second baseman, number 6, Robbie Thompson. Baseman, number 22, Will Clark. Batting fourth in left field, number 7, Kevin Mitchell. Hitting fifth and playing third base, number 10, Ken Oberkfell. The shortstop, number 9, Matt Williams. Hitting seventh and catching, number 16, Terry Kennedy. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 25, Pat Sheridan. Pitching for the Giants tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 50, Scott Garrels. And the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the San Francisco Giants.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center field. Presenting the colors for tonight's game, the Letterman Army Medical Center color guard from the Presidio of San Francisco. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may we ask that you please rise to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome national recording artists Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin Brothers.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For
Candlestick after this message courtesy of Major League Baseball and a word from our ABC stations.
In '87, it was the Twins. In '88, it was the Dodgers. Who will take home the prize in '89? Whoever it is, you can capture all the excitement again and again with the official 1989 World Series home video from CBS Fox Video Sports. To order your official video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR. Just $19.98 plus $3 each for shipping and handling. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball.
1 week from tonight.
All comedy, all the time.
They're back.
Oh, you can't stay off our planet.
First, it's Full House.
There's traffic everywhere.
Then,
why is every kid's first word always mama?
Not Eddie. His first word was, huh?
It's Family Matters. And more funnies on Perfect Strangers. Then, the creme de la comedy of Just the 10 of Us. TGIF. It's a loony lineup next Friday.
Don't miss it.
Can you give me one word that best describes your new Eagle Talon?
Exhilaration, power, excitement, performance.
But that's 4 words.
You want it backwards?
So the new Eagle Talon is all you'll drive. Is there a reason why?
It's all-wheel drive.
I know, but why?
It's all-wheel drive.
I know, but why?
Ask 1,000 Californians about life in California. You'll get 1,000 different answers. Ask about plans for the future. No 2 replies will be the same. But ask who they rely on to turn vision into reality. You'll hear one name more than any other, B of A. Where more Californians save for more good reasons. To find out who's doing the job for more California savers, ask a Californian.
Over the years, much has changed about the game. Today, the best in the business fly. And the airline that takes over 300 college and pro teams to their chosen field is United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Bay Area sports history. All the action tonight after the game.
In the Bay Area, October, normally the best month, and a classic example today at about 5:25 on this Friday afternoon. It's gorgeous in the Bay Area. Temperature in the low 60s in San Francisco. Candlestick Park is filling up. 60,000 or so will look on tonight as we get set for the resumption of the 1989 World Series, as the American League champion Oakland A's take on the National League champion San Francisco Giants. The A's leading in the series 2-0. I'm Al Michaels. Where were we? A long, long time ago, Ricky Henderson was stealing bases and hitting home runs, and there was something about Cito Gaston saying that Dennis Eckersley was doctoring the baseball, and the A's were beating Toronto to win the American League playoffs. And a long, long time ago, Will Clark hit a single up the middle in the 8th inning against the Chicago Cubs off Mitch Williams, and the Giants won their first pennant in 27 seasons. And once upon a time, Dave Stewart pitched a shutout in Oakland in Game 1 of the World Series, and once upon a time, Mike Moore pitched very well. Eckersley came out of the pen, and Terry Steinbach hit a 3-run homer, and the Oakland A's led in the World Series 2-0. And now we're back. And now I'm back, delighted to be joined by Tim McCarver. Just share your thoughts as we get set for Game 3 here, Tim.
Well, Al, I think the question of preparedness are prominent in all of our minds. Just how prepared are these two teams to play after the long layoff? The San Francisco Giants with the best home record in the National League, 53-28. But will that be neutralized because of the layoffs and a very, very good Oakland Athletics team? As far as the Athletics are concerned, remember when we talked about the focus the Athletics had back in games 1 and 2, being beaten by the Dodgers last year? Well, you got to wonder about whether the Athletics are going to be interrupted as far as their play is concerned. I mean, after all, both teams have been off 10 days, and to allay that, Tony La Russa took his team to Phoenix, and by the way, they beat their Winter Instructional League team yesterday, 7-0, so their winning streak's still intact.
In front of several thousand fans.
Right.
They came back last night. The Giants, of course, have remained here. Jim Palmer also with us. Jim, your thoughts as we prepare now for Game 3.
Well, my thought, of course, I'm proud to be an ex-baseball player because I feel that the Commissioner of Baseball, Paige Jensen, did an outstanding job. Very sensitive to the needs of the San Francisco people and everybody in this area. But if you go back to a question, and this question I've gotten, who's going to dominate? Is it going to be the pitchers or going to hitters? It's going to be the pitcher. I'm not saying that because I'm a former pitcher, but I'll tell you what, to me, the interesting question is how did each manager prepare themselves to come back here to the third game? How do you face a Dave Stewart? Well, they just took batting practice if you're Roger Craig and the Giants. Tony La Russa, and it's the thing that Al Michaels told you about in Game 1 and 2, they are focused. I believe he made them have inter-squad games because he felt they'd be better. Ricky Henderson said it best. He said, we're prepared for this game because we have faced the best pitching in baseball, our pitching.
On the subject of managers, a little earlier, our Joe Morgan talked with both managers, Roger Craig of the Giants, Tony La Russa of the A's.
Tony, you and Roger have had to deal with some circumstances unparalleled in the history of the World Series. You dealt with yours by taking your team to Phoenix. Was the weather a consideration, or you just thought you had to do something different?
Well, absolutely, Joe. The only reason to go down there was we had a forecast of rain either Wednesday or probably Thursday. Our outfield's so wet that we thought, well, to get ready, we don't want to miss some of this hitting. It turned out there were 2 beautiful days. If you'd have guaranteed that weather, we'd have been better off staying.
Were you satisfied with the performance you got down in Phoenix?
Well, we worked out fine. We got the work in. I don't think anybody could have predicted that we'd have had the crowds down there. It just showed us that I think people are very excited about baseball and are happy to see us playing it.
No batting practice today?
Well, we're going to slip in a little bit here at the end. It's a real tough time coming across San Mateo, but some way, somehow, we'll be ready for whatever Roger has in store for us.
Roger, you went about yours differently. You kept the Giants here, played a few practice games, but then you stopped that.
Well, we worked out the first 2 days after the earthquake, Joe. Then I didn't see the intensity, the desire. The players were not having any fun hitting off the guys, throwing 95 miles an hour. So I just called a day off and let them come back and just take batting practice, kind of do what they wanted to put the fun back in the game. I think the psychological effect had more to do with it than the physical effect, and I think we're as ready as we can be.
The intensity going to be there tonight?
I think so. I think you can see now, as you look around, the stands are filling up. It'll be a great night for baseball, and I think once they throw out the first pitch, it's going to be just like it was. I don't think you'll even know what happened.
I think it'll be a good game. Let's have a good ball game.
Looking forward to it.
And that first pitch is just moments away at Candlestick Park, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. And the pitching matchup tonight, Dave Stewart for Oakland, Scott Garrelts for San Francisco.
It has arrived.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. This is the all-new 4-door Cutlass Supreme. Your mission is to show the world that it's causing an automotive revolution. Its sleek look and responsive performance make it a superpower among world-class cars.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. Hey, head up! This is the new generation.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
The ball game's over.
How to get your package through a Mediterranean storm.
Most Federal Express overseas employees are from overseas, so they not only know the local customs regulations, they know the local customs. And that helps your package sail right through. Because when delivering in Rome, it helps to be a Roman. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over here is now the best way to ship it over there.
On November 22nd, the adventure continues.
All right, time circuit's on.
Get ready. Get set.
2015!
Welcome to the future.
I gotta check this out, Doc.
Where anything is possible.
Cubs win World Series.
Steven Spielberg presents a Robert Zemeckis film. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd. Back to the Future, Part 2. A brand new future is coming on Wednesday, November 22nd at theaters everywhere.
When disaster hits and people need help, sometimes you've got to break the rules. It just can't be business as usual. After the events of the past month, we knew we had to do something. So right now, every time you buy a BK Doubles, Burger King will donate 25 cents to the American Red Cross to help those devastated by the San Francisco earthquake and Hurricane Hugo. Because sometimes breaking the rules means giving something back.
I didn't know you liked baseball.
I don't. I like Jose.
I used to play.
Really?
Little League. I was designated weeper.
Anything But Love, Wednesdays.
Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. The Oakland Athletics versus the San Francisco Giants. Brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future, now at your Oldsmobile dealer. By Anheuser-Busch, we brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Apple Computer, the power to be your best. And by Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we direct your attention to the pitcher's mound for a very special ceremony. In the aftermath of last week's earthquake, thousands of public servants and volunteers from scores of local and regional agencies, along with hundreds of ordinary citizens, performed heroically in the rescue and recovery efforts throughout the Bay Area. In recognition of these efforts, these 12 individuals are with us this evening to represent their organizations and to symbolize their countless co-workers and neighbors who also gave unselfishly in this dark hour. Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first ball, our San Francisco firefighter, Jerry Shannon. The medical director of Oakland Highlands Hospital, Dr. Floyd Hughes. Pacific Gas and Electric Company gas serviceman, Dave Lopez. San Francisco police officer, Alvin Wong. Caltrans Associate Bridge Engineer, Steve Whipple. California Conservation Corps San Francisco branch volunteer, Juan Moncada. Oakland Fire Department Captain, Ron Carter. Santa Cruz County Red Cross Chapter Chairwoman, Corey Livingston. Pacific Bell District Manager, John Advez. Santa Cruz Area Salvation Army Volunteer, Shelley Cruz. California Highway Patrol Lieutenant Clifford Gray. And San Francisco Deputy Sheriff, Terry Tussey. Thank you very much, and the Bay Area salutes you for your great effort in this time of need.
An unforgettable moment at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where this crowd, and if you were with us during the introduction of the starting lineups, naturally the Giants, this being their home park, the crowd very much into it. Very much into it. No question. Some thought perhaps the response would be somewhat muted early on and then might build. But no, sir, as the Giants take the field.
Really, the bonding and the banding together of the entire region.
better late than never. Never felt better. Scott Garrelts goes to the mound for the Giants. And he was the starting pitcher in Game 1 of the World Series, which took place 13 nights ago at the Oakland Coliseum. Among the things that have happened while we were waiting for the series to resume, there's an entire change in both pitching rotations. In the original Game 3, a week ago Tuesday, it was going to be Don Robinson for San Francisco and Bob Welch for Oakland, and now we're back to the starters in Game 1. And the lineup for the A's with Ricky Henderson, Carney Lansford, and Jose Canseco hitting third. Mark McGwire, the cleanup hitter. Dave Henderson in center. Steinbach is the catcher. Tony Phillips at second. Walt Weiss, who homered in Game 1 off Garrelts at shortstop. And again, just to refresh you, we're in the National League Park, and that means no designated hitter. Dave Parker, the A's DH, played a big role in Games 1 and 2. But he is limited to pinch hitting duty here. The pitchers will hit Mitchell, Butler, and Sheridan in the Giant outfield. Oberkfell at third, Williams at short, Thompson at second, Clark at first. Kennedy back to the plate. Garrelts is pitching, and because the Giants in those first 2 games of the World Series had only 9 hits, Roger Craig was going to make these changes anyway. In Game 3 a week ago Tuesday, with Oberkfell at third, Williams over to short, and Sheridan at right.
Ricky Henderson has been, throughout the postseason, dominating. Most valuable player in the American League Championship Series. He is 5 for 8, the entire San Francisco team with 9 hits among them. And Ricky Henderson has 5 as the leadoff batter for the Oakland Athletics.
And strangely, even though he is 5 for 8, he has been much quieter in the World Series than he was against Toronto, and he dominated. So here we go. Several days later, Game 3 of the World Series is underway with a strike. And you know that baseball is back when Henderson looks back at Voltaggio on the very first pitch of the game and questions the call.
The delay didn't change that, did it?
No. Breaking pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Henderson started the season with the Yankees, then came over in June and really sparked the A's. He gets fisted and grounds it to short. Matt Williams throws him out. So Garrelts, as he was unable to do, facing Henderson in Game 1, is able to keep him off the bases as he gets him to ground out to short, and Carney Lansford comes to the plate.
There you saw how Williams just nursed the ball over to Clark at first. He's the youngest player in the World Series.
That's lined in the center field for a base hit. So Lansford picks up his 3rd hit of the World Series, a 1-out single here in the first inning. Carney has good speed. He stole 37 bases this season, but he was not really a base-stealing threat in the first 2 games of the series because of a pulled hamstring.
All 3 of his hits have come as in the first time at bat. That's his 3rd hit in the series, all during his first time at bat. But my point about Williams, he nursed that throw to first base. That's usually what happens until the players get the butterflies out.
Jose Canseco at the plate, takes inside, ball 1. Canseco, and it's been forgotten, working on a string right now. He is 0 for his last 23 in the last 2 World Series. The record is 31. He's chasing one Marv Owen, who got a lot of publicity, and everybody was scrambling for stories in the past couple of days. And again, it's up and in. 2-0, and Canseco after taking 2 pitches inside, and of all things, Jose begins to go toward the mound. Some of the players exit the dugout, but it will stop right there. And La Russa comes out to talk to Voltaggio.
You know, that's just misdirected passion right there. I mean, there's no way that Scott Garrelts is throwing at Canseco under these, of all circumstances, under these circumstances. That is very close, however, and the book on Canseco is you've got to pitch him inside.
Well, you can see how close it is, and of course Garrelts, who had some problems with his mechanical workings of his windup in the first game, having it again.
So the spirit of unbound love in this region, which had even extended to these 2 teams, at least as far as the teams are concerned, lasts about 3 minutes. The 2-0 pitch is on the inside corner, and the count is 2-1.
Now, you wondered if they were going to have any intensity, and you already see right there, especially a guy struggling. Don't mess with my head. It's hard to see. Twilight type of situation here in San Francisco.
Clark holding Lansford on at first. 1 out, first inning, no score, and 2-1 on Canseco. Breaking pitch into the hole, and that's a base hit. Lansford will stop at second as Mitchell gets it back in. So Jose snaps the string. He had not had a World Series hit since that grand slam home run in Game 1 against the Dodgers last year, forever forgotten because Gibson ended the game with a dramatic homer, and now a single here in the first inning.
A breaking ball that he did not get in a good location. A lot of times, as you look at Roger Craig, he's got to be a little concerned. He said he would go to the bullpen in a hurry tonight, down 2-0.
Mark McGwire swings late, and the count is 0-1. Well, Craig has to manage this game as if it's the last game of the season, in effect. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the World Series. Several, however, have come back from 0-2. And McGwire fouls it away, and the count is 0-2.
And so many times you learn from your mistakes. And Norm Sherry, Roger Craig, hoped that Scott Garrelts learned from the mistakes he made in Game 1. He did not pitch that badly. Did give up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. But what he did do is have very bad pitch selection. Did not throw the proper pitches to the proper hitters.
Lansford at second, Canseco at first. 1 out. And the runners go as it's grounded to the hole. Williams up with it. One-handed throws to first for the out. The runners advance with Lansford now at third and Canseco at second. And again, it's Matt Williams who has been playing third for the Giants for the most part through the second half of the season. Was the third baseman through the playoffs and in the first 2 games, who moves over to short and makes the play here.
Pretty exciting baseball with Mark McGwire hitting and running, runners at first and second. A play that, as far as the big leagues are concerned, happened much more often this year than in past years. The first and second hit and run, you saw a lot more teams do it this year.
2 on, 2 out, and Dave Henderson, who is 0 for 6 in the World Series and having hit the ball out of the infield, takes away ball 1. Now Garrelts, with first base open, naturally can afford to be more careful with Henderson here, but he has Steinbach waiting on deck. In the air to right field and deep, and Sheridan goes back, and it's off the top of the fence, and in play, 2 runs will score, and Henderson has a double. Dave saying, wasn't it a home run, but the right field umpire, Paul Runke, was down the line and there to call it. Said it hit the top of the fence and bounces back, and it's 2-0 A's and almost 3-0.
And that's already more runs than Scott Garrelts averages here at Candlestick Park. 157. A little bit over a run and a half. As you look Sheridan go back, he's an outstanding defensive outfielder. Gets up, but just not high enough. The ball goes off the top of the fence. 2 extra umpires, one down the left field line, Paul Runke down the right field line. Makes this call a lot easier as you see it hit right on the top of the fence.
Now Steinbach pops it up in foul territory. Kennedy comes back, and there is a lot of room, but not enough there, and the count is 0-1.
We talked about a better offensive lineup, but you're also talking normally about a better defensive outfielder. Sheridan a lot better than Maldonado. Throws better range, charges the ball well.
And the reason Pat didn't have a chance to get back on that ball, the ball didn't have a lot of hang time. So Sheridan didn't have a chance to get back, set himself at the fence, and jump for the ball.
Pitch away in the count 1-1. He jumped high enough, but he didn't have it gauged correctly where it came down.
Right.
Breaking pitch away. Vertically, Sheridan was okay. Horizontally is where the problem existed. So it's 2-0 on a double by Henderson. The first time that Henderson has hit the ball out of the infield in the 3 games. Good breaking pitch. The count 2-2. The A's in the World Series, winning game 1 back of Dave Stewart 5-0, winning game 2 by a score of 5-1. Steinbach hitting a 3-run homer in that one. That's grounded to third, scooped up by Oberfell, and that's that in the first. But the A's got a couple to take the lead. After a half, Oakland 2 and San Francisco coming up.
I was feeling pretty good when I saw my boy Joe in that new Oldsmobile. I thought Joe had finally matured some. But that new Cutlass Glade doesn't look like any Oldsmobile that I ever had. It's got something called a high output quad 4 engine. The next thing you know, Joe will be bringing home girls.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is a new generation of Olds.
Now get up to a $1,600 cash bonus on a 1990 Cutlass Calais. See your Olds dealer today.
50, 60, 70% off. Ooh, sale, sale, sale. Lowest price of the year. Who's kidding who? That's a lot of hype. And people just don't believe it anymore. Now, Sears has the right idea. They lowered prices throughout the store so I can get great prices all the time. And when Sears has a sale or a special price, it's something you don't want to miss. Not like some stores. So I'm not going for the hype. I'm going to Sears.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you've been wanting Ian Alistair, Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for McKenzie.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie.
No trouble finding me, did you, lad?
No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Yo! This is Mars Blackman, and this is my main man, Michael Jordan. And this is a pair of tight Air Jordans from Nike. This is something you can buy. And this is a patented, vicious, high-flying 360 slam dunk. This is something you cannot do. Let me repeat myself. This you can buy. You cannot do this. Can. No!
Candlestick Park in San Francisco in the twilight. Gorgeous day in the Bay Area. The A's scoring 2 runs in the top of the first, and now their ace going to the mound, Dave Stewart. 3 years in a row, he's won 20 or more, and in postseason, 2 victories against Toronto, 1 against San Francisco in Game 1 of the World Series. And he will be facing the Giants tonight with a revamped lineup, a different one than he saw in Game 1, in the sense that Oberfell is in the lineup and Sheridan is in the lineup, and then Williams drops down to the number 6 spot from number 5. Brett Butler to lead off for the Giants. Butler, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark in the bottom of the first. Brett 1 for 6 in the World Series, and the first pitch to the screen, 1-0. Sheridan jumping high enough but missing the drive off Henderson's bat, and it's 2-0. And the count is 2-0. Butler, Thompson, and Clark in the bottom of the first. Dave Stewart working for the first time since a week ago Saturday. Throws a strike in the count, 2-1.
And how they tried to get him ready for this game is to have a simulated game a week ago Thursday. That would have put him right on target for Tuesday's game.
Lifted to left field, and Henderson was playing him in that direction anyway and makes the catch. So Ricky takes care of Butler. Here's the Giants lineup again if you missed the pregame introductions. With Butler leading off, then Thompson and Clark. Mitchell is in the cleanup spot. Oberkfell in the lineup tonight, hitting fifth. Matt Williams, Terry Kennedy, Pat Sheridan 8, and Garrelts. Robbie Thompson, 241 during the regular season with 13 homers. And anything but the typical number 2 hitter because he struck out 133 times during the regular year. One and one.
I think it's only fair to note that he did have some shoulder problems that bothered him the second half of the season. In fact, got a cortisone shot 2 days ago. Very gingerly taking both throwing and hitting practice yesterday.
1-2 the count. If anything, the Giants had more players benefiting from the delay than the A's. Clark with the knee and tonsillitis. Thompson, Mitchell's wrist, and Robbie Thompson gone on strikes. Here's the split forkball, your preference, and down goes Thompson.
Well, they call it a forkball in Oakland, split-fingered fastball in San Francisco. I tell you, 18 miles apart, pitch still does the difference. The same thing, just goes down. You can't pick up the spin. It's an off-speed pitch in some sort, a little bit slower than Stewart's 88 to 92 mile per hour fastball.
18 miles via the San Mateo Bridge. 8 miles if you're a bird. In the air, down the line, curling foul, and Lansford giving chase and sliding and unable to backhand it. As in Oakland, plenty of room here in foul territory. It tapers off down the line, and Carney comes up checking his wrist. Candlestick Park, a stadium that was built in the late 50s and opened in 1960. The Giants came west in 58, spent 2 seasons at Old Seal Stadium, then moved in here in 62, and this is the first World Series game they played here since 1962 as Clark swings and misses and the count is 0-2.
Yeah, Will said that basically the pattern that Stewart had with him, nobody on base, saw a lot of fastballs, somebody on base, split-fingered fastballs.
Still 0-2.
Excuse me, but Timmy, you know, of course, you're a former hitter, 4 decades. Pitcher will change. I mean, that's part of the baseball. You have to change as a hitter. Stewart, right, of course, may change tonight. They both watched the films.
I don't know whether Stewart's inclined to change as much. He threw a shutout his last time up.
And one of the few people who did give him a problem that night was Clark with a single and a double. He had 2 of the 4 hits.
And the other time popped up and lined out. So 3 out of 4 times. He had to be happy not with the result of the game, but his at-bats.
Yeah, remarkably, Dave Stewart winning 20 for the 3rd year in a row. His first shutout of the season this year.
And Clark gone on strikes. So after the A's get 2 in the top of the inning, the Giants are gone in order. End of 1 in game 3.
Do I look okay? Yeah, you look great. Don't worry, Dickens loves you. Hi. This is my dad?
Young man. Hi. Pleasure to meet you. So, you play?
Making points when you put
yeah.
to the test. For joining in and taking part. Earning their trust. Right from the start. For showing what's inside of you. Winning their heart. For coming through. This was for you.
Cold and crisp, clean and refreshing. The one and only taste of the king of beers.
Are you okay? Yeah.
You don't have to go to Harvard to learn beef is nutrient dense. We're talking protein, iron, B12, and zinc. I didn't go to Harvard. Went to Yale instead. Beef, real food in Yale, Washington.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobiles covers just one part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
When lunch and a day at the park are too much for Tommy Lasorda, he reaches for Rolaids. Nothing works better for acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Relief. You know how to spell it.
An ABC News exclusive reveals how a Soviet spy ring stole U.S. military secrets for 20 years. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News tonight, Monday.
Still a spectacular sight. Boy, you can only ponder. It's amazing. You look at it from the blimp. It's standing, folks. It sure is. There it is in all its regal splendor. The city of San Francisco. Cosmetically looking beautiful, as always. But, of course, we all know about the deep, deep scars. World Series, Game 3, second inning. Tony Phillips, the batter, check swing foul at the plate, evening the count at 1-1. Phillips, Walt Weiss, and then Dave Stewart. Tony, switch hitter, and a most valuable Oakland A. It's such a high-profile team. He's one of those kind of lost in the publicity shuffle, but not in the mind of Tony La Russa. 2-1.
The only positions Phillips didn't play this year, he didn't catch, he didn't pitch, and he didn't play center field. But he played the other 6. Terrific athlete. Some think he is the best athlete, pure athlete, on the Oakland Ball Club.
2-2 the count. Spectacular sight. Looking north into your shot. With a moment came the Bay Bridge. As Phillips on a check swing foul rolls it off to the left, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tell you, Al, as far as the Giants are concerned, it might be too nice a day today. One of the big reasons the Giants and Scott Garrell's 10-2 in this ballpark, Roger Craig's troops, one of the reasons that they had the best record in the National League was because most of the teams that come in here have to fight the element.
Check swing, the appeal, and he's punched out at third by Gregg. Nick Voltaggio didn't call it a swinging strike. The ball was dropped by Kennedy. He made the tag, and then it's official when Gregg puts the big right arm up.
See Voltaggio not making the call. He checks with Eric Gregg, and Eric gives him the strikeout sign. You can see right here, it's where the bat goes, and did he catch the ball in the air? Kennedy does it, and there's Eric.
Weiss pops it down the line in foul territory, and that drops untouched in the bullpen. 0-1 on Walt, who hit only 3 homers during the regular season, but homered in Game 1 against Garrelts. Weiss, with knee surgery, missed about half the season. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the American League. 1-1.
And the home run came on a split-fingered fastball, same pitch that just struck out Tony Phillips. It was not a good pitch in Game 1 for Scott Garrelts because he didn't have command of it.
To center field. Butler gauging it, drifting back. 2 down in the second inning. Two out, bases empty. The A's are ahead 2-0. And Dave Stewart will come up, obviously, for the first time this season, even though Stewart in parts of 6 seasons in the National League, hit 196. He was 10 for 51. There it is, his career mark. In there in the count on 1.
And it has been a long drought for American League pitchers in World Series play. 0 for their last 67, dating back to 1979 when Tim Stoddard, teammate of yours, Jim.
Yeah, you know what happened that day? The Orioles were staging a rally coming from behind as the game they won. I was on the bench. So anyway, Stoddard, as you look at Dave Park, he couldn't even get anybody else in there. He let Stoddard hit. He got a base hit.
Hayes gone in order, to the amusement of even Parker.
Contact first made news in 1961. In 1976, the news was 2 Sudafed. Today, there's new Co-Advil. Co-Advil has what no other cold product has. The pain reliever in Advil plus a proven decongestant. A combination never available before in just 1 tablet. Co-Advil is so effective it can relieve nasal congestion, sinus pressure, and the aches and pains of your cold, all without drowsiness. Read label before using. New Co-Advil. Advanced formula for cold and sinus relief.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshipped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
You know, most people don't know when to start checking their shocks.
One thing to watch out for, they'll wear out faster if you carry heavy loads or drive on bad roads.
And it isn't just a matter of comfort. Bad shocks can mean bad handling, too.
These GM Goodwrench shocks come with a warranty. The warranty is good for as long as you own your GM car or truck.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
We're giving the competition a run for their money on price, too.
Brought to you by the King of Fields.
You missed a spot.
Free Spirits, Sundays.
Candlestick Park, Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver gain 3 of the World Series. Oakland on top 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the middle of the order for the Giants, Kevin Mitchell, who led the majors in homers and runs batted in. And Ken Oberkfell and Matt Williams. Stewart set the Giants down in order in the 1st and begins by missing away here, ball 1. 1-0. Mitchell 3 for 8 in the World Series. And did pretty well in the playoffs against the Cubs. He was 6 for 17 as well, but that was all obliterated because of Will Clark's performance. Obliterated in the minds of fans. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Here at Candlestick tonight, all you needed, of course, was your ticket stub. The original Game 3 was sold out. And the stub alone gets you back into the ballpark. Only about 75 people turned their original ticket stubs in. And Mitchell has gone on strikes. And so Dave Stewart, picking right up where he left off a week ago Saturday, has retired the first 4, and he has struck out 3 in a row.
Oh, power hitter, power pitcher. Did not get that ball where he wants to. Tried to go inside. You can see Steinbach sitting in. That ball's away, but you see the great movement along with the velocity that Dave Stewart has. Plus, he's already thrown enough split fingers to make the hitters look for it.
Oberkfell at the plate. Oberkfell picked up from Pittsburgh in May, a most valuable Giant coming off the bench this year. He was a regular, you'll recall, with St. Louis and Atlanta. Then he went to Pittsburgh and then to San Francisco. And back in the lineup as Craig tries to find some punch. Giants limited in this World Series to 9 hits in now 19 in the third innings. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pitch hit base hit off Mike Moore. Just slapped it into left field in game 2. Likes to describe himself, Ken does, as a patient hitter. And he said, that's what I'm going to try to do off Dave Stewart. Not swing at the split finger until I have to. Got to do it with 2 strikes.
One of the raps on Oberkfell is that he's not an RBI man. And usually those two go hand in hand. If you don't strike out a lot, you don't drive in many runs.
The right field, Canseco nearly misjudged it, but finds it and makes the catch. It's still a little tough right now in the twilight. Lights not having full effect, and they will in about another 20 or 25 minutes. But for the moment, it can be a little tricky. Matt Williams, I guess that statement there reflecting the thoughts of so many of the players on both sides tonight. One and 0 the count. Williams expressing his thoughts. Boy, you find out a lot about these players in times like this. Dave Stewart in particular. I mean, every time you saw Dave Stewart interviewed before this tragedy, it was always in regard to baseball. And you knew that he was an articulate man and an intelligent man, but of all the players who have expressed their thoughts during this terrible time, no one with any more articulateness than the man on the mound, Dave Stewart. And he can really feel it because he's from the area originally. It's driven to deep left field. And Matt Williams has hit it out. Their second run of the World Series, their first home run, and they want Williams back out. Terry Kennedy, the batter, takes a strike. Williams did come out for his curtain call, and the score is 2-1. To the count.
18 home runs during the regular season for the Giants. He had 26 in Phoenix. Gives him 44 and 3 in postseason play.
And Kennedy gone on 3 pitches. So Stewart comes back to strike out his 4th Giant, but San Francisco gets a run.
Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. College football doubleheader here on ABC Sports. Saturday begins with Indiana at Michigan. Wolverines trying to stay atop the Big Ten chase, followed by Washington at UCLA or Ohio State at Minnesota. Check the local listings for the game in your area here on ABC Sports.
To drive it to believe it. The new Accord.
I've got 2 words for you.
sourdough.
The grilled sourdough burger at Jack in the Box. For exciting new taste, this is the place.
Just 2 words, sourdough. There's that one.
How to stuff a breakfast sandwich. Start with 2 eggs, scrambled, not fried. Add crisp bacon, lean ham, and natural cheddar. All stuffed in a warm pita. The scrambled egg pocket at Jack in the Box.
What's going to happen?
The Battle of the Bay. All the action tonight after the game.
The 1989 World Series. Brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Sunset in Northern California.
This home run by Matt Williams doesn't give the Giants the lead, but it gives them confidence. Only the 2nd extra base hit in the series for the Giants. The other a double by Will Clark.
And home run's no stranger to Stewart. On a hanging split-fingered fastball, came right back to get Kennedy out on the same pitch.
Now Ricky Henderson to start the 3rd inning. Top of the order, Henderson, Lansford, and Canseco. One and one to count. Stu, I guess forever destined to finish 2nd or 3rd in the Cy Young balloting. It's going to happen again this year, probably.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people wonder how you can be baseball's most consistent player or pitcher over the last 3 years and not win a Cy Young award. Well, it's simple. Just have 3 superlative years, and then somebody each year has a little bit better. 87, it was Clemens. 20-9, the lower ERA. In 88, it was Viola, and this year, Brett Saberhagen. Saberhagen going 23-6 with the lowest ERA in baseball for a starter. It's 2.16, just a little bit lower than Scott Garrelts, who led the National League with a 2.22.
3-1 pitch is fouled off, and the count 3-2 on Henderson. Ricky was one of the few A's who got here in plenty of time for the game. The team bus left the Oakland Coliseum at about 1:45 and didn't arrive at Candlestick Park until around 3:20 this afternoon. So they had a truncated batting practice as Henderson rips one into left center for a base hit and more as Mitchell has to play it off the fence, and Ricky has a double. Henderson hitting it so hard. That's the type of ball that's a guaranteed double on AstroTurf, but normally dies on the grass in this park, or at least is cut off by an outfielder. And Henderson able to drive it through the gap and winds up at 2nd.
We've told you in game 1 and 2 that Henderson does not mind hitting with a 3-2 count. The reason, he knows he's not going to be walked. So you take a little bit off if you're the pitcher. He feels comfortable. And on AstroTurf, the ball bounding around is probably a triple.
Lansford, look out, and the count is 1-0.
Lansford trying to go the other way. He has right field on his mind, so therefore he's ducking out over the plate. That's the 2nd close pitch thrown by Scott Garrelts. The other one, of course, to Jose Canseco in the 1st inning. But that pitch looked more inside than it really was because Lansford is trying to hit the ball the other way.
Which he does there and strokes it foul, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
A great right field hitter. Reminds me of a great former Oakland A, Joe Rudy. Similar batting style. Rudy with more power. Lansford had a terrific year, hitting .336. Only 2 home runs, so he hits the inside out of the ball. This is a perfect situation for him.
1-1. Williams ducking in back of Henderson to keep him close to second, and the pitch is inside. When Henderson's at second, you have to pay attention to him, much as you do at first base, obviously, because Ricky, if you give him a decent lead, and sometimes even if you don't, he'll take off.
Well taken point. You got to make him stop, and he does not need a big lead to steal.
And again, Lansford fighting it off, trying to go the other way with it, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roger Craig, Bob Lillis.
Lansford again trying to go the other way. That's why Henderson isn't going to steal with nobody out. He's less likely to steal with none out than he is with 1 out. Because with nobody out, Lansford may push him to third, and for that reason, you don't need to steal third base. Yeah, Carney can help the ball club not only by getting obviously Ricky Henderson to third base, but he can hit the ball the other side and not really impair his batting average. He does that so much over the course of the season.
Henderson stole third 21 times this year. The 2-2 pitch just missing. Kennedy wanted the ball.
Well, you know, sometimes you even fool the umpire. That ball is about dead center, just above the knees.
In the NFL, it's strike 3 upon further review. Henderson at second, nobody out. Third inning, 2-1, Oakland. 3-2 to Lansford, got him. Strikeouts for Scott Garrell, and Canseco comes up.
Well, an umpire will tell you he'll never ever evens it up. The ball looked close enough to call, and it was. Of course, I tell you what, you go back to that first pitch, Tim, that ball way up and in, it will make you freeze on the breaking ball.
There goes Henderson. Canseco takes a strike. The throw not in time. Good jump. Ricky steals third. So with 1 out, he goes. With nobody out, giving Lansford a chance to hit the ball. But there it is, a perfect illustration of what he normally does.
It's just intelligent team play. Henderson giving Lansford a chance to get him over, and he took things into his own hands, or into his own feet, really.
Giants compelled now to play the infield in, and the count on Canseco is 1-1. He's in there.
The only time that Henderson has been thrown out, he was thrown out by Kennedy at third base in the 6th inning of Game 2.
That's Ricky's second steal of the series and his 10th in postseason. And tying the record set by Davey Lopes in 1981. 1-2 on Canseco. Jose, 1 home run in that championship series, and that, of course, was the monstrous shot at the Sky Dome. Fastball is a little squibber to third. Overkill able to check the runner, and they're going to say now a foul ball or not. Canseco is saying a foul ball, but the umpire, Voltaggio, is saying no, sir. And, of course, the Nippy Jones stories will now come out. What about the shoe polish? And La Russa will go to Voltaggio and say, let's check with the first base umpire, Dutch Renner.
The one problem is the Oakland Athletics have white shoes and the baseball's white.
That's right.
I think the ball might have hit him, and for this reason, I don't think you can act that quickly. If the ball hits your foot, as opposed to hitting the ground, you can't act that quickly. Talking about the NFL instant replay. That ball hit his foot. That ball came right off his foot.
Meanwhile, that one hits Garrels, who is able to recover, and a soft toss to Clark to take care of McGuire. And they check out Garrels, who really took a shot. A bullet back through the middle as he comes staggering off the mound. But the A's are gone, leaving Henderson at third in the third.
Greg, he was crazy to start his own business. He won't have our resources. He won't have our computers.
Morning, Eddie.
Hey, you been busy?
Sure, it's a lot of space for one guy. He says he's planning to grow.
This dog's bothering you, pal? No problem, thanks.
He won't have our graphics department. He won't have our...
He won't have our bureaucracy. I heard Greg Clancy went independent.
I wish I had his guts.
I'm having lots of fun. Ain't no hide gun. I'm the boss man.
This proposal is impressive.
Who are these guys, anyway?
Greg's a creative guy. Clancy's just a bean counter.
I'm the CEO.
Macintosh has the power to make you independent. The power to be your best.
How come you got so much space?
I'm an optimist.
Hello tomorrow, goodbye yesterday. You can feel the emotion, we're breaking away. Generation of light, we have our own voice. Generation of taste, and Pepsi's our choice. We're leading the way, now let it be said. Generation of Pepsi, generation ahead. Generation.
Hi, I'm Will Clark of the San Francisco Giants. You can help the Bay Area recover from the earthquake. Make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C. 20013. Please specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area Earthquake Relief Effort. Thank you for your support.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Another look now at the Canseco play here, Tim.
This is very, very close, and if an umpire can't tell, it appears to have hit his foot. If an umpire can't tell, you've got to go by the reaction of the hitter. Now, see, that ball appears to hit Canseco's foot, but his reaction was more telling than that instant replay because he stopped. Your natural inclination when you hit a ball on the ground that didn't hit your foot, you run to first. But because he stopped, I think that was the best indication of all.
Pat Sheridan leads off the bottom of the third by hitting a soft bouncer down to Phillips, and he's gone. So one away here in the bottom of the third inning, and the batter will be Scott Garrelts. Yeah, you're exactly right, Tim. It's a case of you know it's off your foot or it's hit your foot, so you figure, well, everybody else knows.
Right. And you can't think that quickly. A more telling sign of you trying to get away with something would be to run 3 steps toward first and then stop. Then it's a different story.
Here's Garrelts. I mentioned Nippy Jones. You go back to 57, the Braves and the Yankees, and one of the key plays in that. Jones hit by a pitch, and it was only determined that he was hit by a pitch when they discovered the shoe polish on the ball. 1-1. Good thing he used his kiwi that day, huh? That is Alcatraz, the island sitting out in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Marin County in the background and the great city of San Francisco in the foreground as Garrelts fouls it away in the count 1-2. Butler on deck. Garrelts this season with 2 triples, including one which ended up with him on the disabled list. And down he goes on strikes. Garrelts in a game against the Cubs. In fact, we were doing it as a Thursday night telecast this year. Hurt himself sliding into third and wound up going on the DL. 2 down. And Brett Butler is the batter. And a reminder, tomorrow, Saturday here on ABC at noon Eastern time, Indiana takes on Michigan. College football. Then regional action. You'll see Washington against UCLA or Ohio State against Minnesota following at 3:30 Eastern time. And then we're back here tomorrow at 8 Eastern time for the World Series Game 4. Butler hits a soft fly ball to Dave Henderson. And 9 of the 10 Giants have gone down. The only blemish on the Stewart ledger, the home run by Williams. 2-1 Oakland.
There is a new dimension for those who love to drive. It is long, sleek, smooth yet precise, designed for comfort, built for the road, shaped by the wind, proven on the track. Introducing Lumina, the adult sport coupe. When it comes to new dimensions in performance, nobody's winning like.
The heartbeat of America, that's the Chevrolet.
She's all ours.
Into business, got something to do. Gonna paint the town, red, white, and blue. Coming through.
Nice place. How about some customers?
Ladies' night.
Great place, guys. Who did your decorating?
I'm ready for one thing when I drive. Everything. Bad weather, bad drivers. I guess that's why we've got Michelins. Michelins are for all the things that can't possibly happen, but always do. Am I overprotective? I've got reason to be. The way I see it, you never need a Michelin until you really need a Michelin.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
You know, a lot of people are succeeding in business thanks to desktop publishing. Makes you look pretty smart, doesn't it? Only thing is, what if you need 5,000 printed just as nice for that big meeting? Now, how are you going to get that done? Huh?
It's 22 degrees, and Andy Cavana's father is learning all about his antifreeze.
Come on, Dad, where are you?
The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
Saturday, November 4th, Telly Savalas is back as Kojak.
He's the only one who's got all the answers.
The season premiere of the ABC Saturday Mystery, November 4th.
San Francisco World Series resuming tonight, Game 3. And on to the fourth inning we go with Dave Henderson to lead off. Then Steinbach and Phillips. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. Henderson a two-run double off the top of the right field fence in the first inning to give Oakland the lead. You know, you walk around the area and people have said, and I'm sure they said it to you guys too, tell everybody we're okay. We're okay. We're bouncing back. The city's fine. Come on out.
Boy, and it is a special city. People have been fantastic.
The whole area. There's a drive to deep right center field, and that one is gone. Dave Henderson this time hits it over after hitting the top of the fence in the first inning. This one clears it by a couple of feet in the fourth.
Boy, such a clutch player for Oakland. Playoffs, World Series, even when he had a bad playoff, the one hit he got was a home run. That was in '86. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Fine center fielder, and he's put it on a show tonight. Gurriel tried to come up a little bit different pitching pattern.
Here's Steinbach grounding one to short. A nice convenient hop for Matt Williams. And the A's catcher is out, number 1.
Now, what Gurriel would like to do is get him out with breaking balls. He threw him 2 breaking balls, got behind, had to come in with a fastball. Still got to hit it, and that's what Dave Henderson did. An idea what kind of strength Dave Henderson has always been a good hitter because he will hit the ball the other way, and he can do it with power.
Plus, the ball carries better to right center in this ballpark than any other park.
And that one carries very well to right field, and that one is gone off the bat of Phillips. And the Giant bullpen is busy.
You got to wonder, Al, what the line drive off Gurriel did last inning. He came off the mound. He's had that type of year where you don't want to leave, but all 3 really hits this inning have been hit right on the number.
And here comes Craig. It's always a tip-off when the catcher looks over into the dugout. It's almost as if he's saying he's lost it. And Kennedy took a long look into the dugout, and Craig comes out. And Kelly Downs throwing in the bullpen. And in he comes, and as we mentioned before, Craig has to manage like this is the last game of the year. Gurelt's out, Downs comes in.
Hi, Tim. Dan got sick. You're going to Paris. Paris?
AT&T International Service.
Blocking off streets all over Paris. My flight gets in at 7:15 a.m.
Whoa,
50 years
Tim,
ago.
look who we forgot. What are we going to tell him?
This is Paris. And I'm Tim Harris reporting. And down below, the Horse Guards are forming for the Bastille Day Parade.
Colonel, are you setting the route for the parade, or are you in the parade?
I am paying the parade.
AT&T USA Direct, can I help you?
Remember, honey, my parents got married in Paris. What if I find the restaurant in the wedding photo?
This thing doesn't have any name on the restaurant.
That's all right. I'll find it. Just fax me the photo.
We're at the Bastille.
Where it all started 200 years ago.
Behind me is the
Mom, I know how to do this.
Fax for you. John, I'll call you back.
Ooh, a restaurant.
Can you guys make it?
Hello. John, look, you're going to have to cut me a bigger hole back here. I'm getting some incredible stuff.
Yes, this is my father, and this is me, the little boy.
It's Tim calling us from Paris.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Tim.
Hang on, I've got Kathy on a conference call with us. Now, Dad, we want to take you and Mom to dinner. It's a little place. French.
Give her a kiss, Dad.
Happy anniversary.
I'm so glad you made that call.
AT&T Long Distance. No one else gives you this remarkable power to manage your world. No one.
Thank you for using AT&T.
Listen. Seems like only yesterday you were single, sweating through your engineering finals and driving hot cars. Today you got a new baby, a new home, your first real job, and you're driving a Chevy Corsica. Just because you got a family doesn't mean you got to settle down.
The heartbeat of America.
The cars more Americans depend on.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Thursdays, the Young Riders.
In town, the lights come on, and at Candlestick Park, the A's are trying to turn the Giants' lights out. They lead 4-1. Gurelt's leaving the game. And again, Gurelt was hit by this line drive off McGuire's bat, ending the third inning.
Definitely, you see Weiss hit it to Clark at first. And there's two down, but that had to lead to his demise. Hit him on the right side. We really couldn't tell from the angle whether it got him in the arm or in the right rib cage. But again, if you have a kind of year that Gurelt's have, you're not going to leave the game until Roger Craig has to do what's best for his team.
Something you really can't understand either. I mean, Scott Gurelt's in 193 innings during the season gave up only 11 home runs. In postseason play, in about 18 innings, he's given up 7 home runs. 19 innings to be exact. Of course, your competition is a lot better in postseason play. You're playing against the best.
Oh, also more innings than he's ever pitched before. As you look at Kelly Downs, a couple of innings. Game 2 has pitched extremely well. Resilient, rubber arm, good slider, and he gets to face the pitcher.
And he's a hit on him, no balls and 2 strikes. Down really one of the unsung heroes in the League Championship Series, twice coming out of the bullpen and effectively filling the role of long man. Kelly Downs, the 0-2 pitch is just outside. 1-2.
All the runs have been scored off San Francisco's starting pitchers. Bullpen has done a fine job when they've got into the games.
One ball, 2 strikes.
People sitting at home, excuse me, why you don't start a Kelly Downs after he pitched so well in the championship series? You got to go with the guys that got you to the playoffs. And again, Downs, as we said, even though he's had some shoulder problems, has shown Roger Craig a great fastball, a good slider, and again, that resilient arm that can bounce back with only a day between pitching performances.
Well, I think Craig felt that was the perfect role for Downs with his reconstructed pitching staff, because he could do something that he figured Gurelt couldn't do. Soft looper right into the glove of Thompson. But a couple of homers in the 4th by Dave Henderson and Tony Phillips. 4-1 is the score, and back we come after a word from our ABC stations.
He faced the outrage of a nation.
Can I be the first president to quit office?
And lost everything but the love of his family.
No man who ever lived had a more wonderful family than I have.
AT&T presents The Final Days, Sunday at 8, 7 Central.
When there's something you want to know, something you need to understand, you can rely on Channel 7 News. What matters to you matters to us.
Introducing the UPS On-Call Air Pickup Division. Our mission, to pick up your next-day air packages and letters. Just call 1-800-PICK-UPS and we'll be on our way. And because of our efficiency, we'll deliver overnight for a lot less than other companies charge. UPS On-Call Air Pickup, a service provided by some real go-getters. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
BP has just participated with BMW in a rigid test of gasoline. I mean, they were really finicky. And no high-octane BP Super passed BMW's official test for lifetime intake valve cleanliness. Of course, you don't have to drive a BMW to take advantage of BP Super. It would be nice. BP has a new BMW available to give away every week in the BP Super license plate jackpot. Check your station's weekly winners list for your license plate number.
The plays and the players tonight after the game.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Diet Pepsi. For great taste that's a home run every time, it's Diet Pepsi, the right one.
You know, folks, you can help the Bay Area recover from the earthquake. You can make a credit card contribution by calling 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to that address, P.O. Box 37243, Washington, D.C., and specify that your contribution go to the Bay Area Earthquake Relief Effort. World Series resuming at Candlestick Park. Game 3, the A's are on top by a score of 4-1, and Robbie Thompson to lead off in the bottom of the fourth. Thompson, Clark, and Mitchell. Robbie struck out in the first inning and waves at the breaking pitch. It doesn't get it 0-1. One hit for the Giants. That a home run to left field by Matt Williams, which is his only hit in the series. Got the inside corner, and the count is 0-2. Down he goes on the fork or split finger. Second time he has struck out. And in 3 1/3 innings, that's 6 strikeouts for Dave Stewart. And Will Clark talking to himself as he comes up.
Well, that's the advantage of staying ahead. Dave Stewart doing a terrific job staying ahead. 6 strikeouts. And he has used those fork balls to his advantage. But if you don't stay ahead, hitters won't swing at the balls out of the strike zone.
Clark lines it into center field for a base hit. So with 1 out, a single by Clark here in the 4th inning, and the crowd comes very much alive again as Kevin Mitchell comes to the plate.
And that's the way to combat that. When they try to get ahead, hit the first pitch. Will Clark went home, watched the films. He said, hey, Stewart, like I said, Stewart throws me fastball with nobody on, and that's what he got, and he pinked it into center field. Kevin Mitchell struck out in the 2nd inning.
takes away ball one.
You talked about the home runs. You're looking at the home run leader in the major leagues with 47. Stewart threw 23, 3 in the playoffs, and then 1 here tonight. Never, ever a 3-run home run. No grand slams either.
That's grounded to the hole, and a base hit, and the Giants have runners at first and second. Two on, 1 out, and Ken Oberfeld coming to the plate.
Similar pitch that Matt Williams hit for a home run, except this ball is a little bit farther outside. Fork ball up in the strike zone. You see it. Perfect example of Kevin Mitchell's strength. Took a ball outside and pulled it by the third baseman.
Oberfeld flying to Canseco in the second inning. 1-0.
Dave Stewart needs a ground ball, but this season he had about 100 more outs in the air than he did on the ground, which means that in a situation like this, you can't look for the double play ball as you would normally. Stewart does not throw a lot of ground balls.
Crowd chanting OB, OB. 2-0.
Yeah, but the only time you're going to see somebody hit a ground ball is if he got ahead and could throw that fork ball. Well, it's 2-0. Real good hitting situation for Oberfeld. As we told you, a patient guy. He can look for his pitch. 2-0. He knows Stewart with a 3-1 lead. Doesn't want to walk him, especially with Matt Williams on deck. He's already homered.
3-0. Oberfeld at first. Hayes infield double play depth, and Williams who homered in the second.
Struck out 72 times.
Yeah, but now with the count 0-2, you can go out of the strike zone. That's been Stewart's pattern. And he needs to strike out here.
That home run came on a 2-1 pitch. Good point.
Williams not fighting. 1-2. Jeff Brantley gets up in the Giants' pen as Craig looks ahead. Williams is hitting in the 6th spot. Kennedy is on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 4th. 4-1 A's. And the 1-2 pitch to Williams in the dirt, 2-2. Got him. Williams couldn't pull the trigger. Perfect pitch by Stewart and a big second out. 2 down, and Kennedy comes up. And that's 7 strikeouts for Stu.
Wonder how you win 20 games 3 years in a row. You got to make clutch pitches at clutch times. And you can't be afraid to throw the ball over the plate and challenge a hitter. Of course, that challenge was right on the outside corner.
Now Kennedy, who's been cold at the plate in postseason, swings and misses. He hit .239 during the regular season. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike on Kennedy. And that's lined into center field for a base hit. Clark comes in to score. Here comes Mitchell. The throw is cut off. It's 4-3.
Saw a clutch pitch by Stewart to Matt Williams, and now you see a clutch hit by Terry Kennedy. An outside fastball drilled up the middle. Good hitting by Kennedy.
I got to think that Stewart threw the ball exactly where he wanted to. Kennedy, who struggled really since 1987. That's the biggest hit in a couple of years.
Sheridan with 2 out takes the ball, and the count is 1-0. Giants have Oberkfell at second, Kennedy at first. It's 4-3 in the 4th. Sheridan, the number 8 hitter. In the American League Park, you wouldn't have to worry about it next with the pitcher Downs out on deck, but here it's a whole other story. And thus Brantley continues to throw in the Giants' pen for Roger Craig. 1-1 the count on Sheridan. Ball 2. Sheridan, the 7th Giant to hit in the inning. Downs on deck. And the 2-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. Great diving, stopped by McGuire, but the throw just get it. Stewart gets over there just in time to take care of him at first base, but the Giants get 2 to make it 4-3.